Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this Monday evening live session. And we are going to go a little basic but very important topic, which is about standard deviation sigma, and a lot of misconception about standard deviation sigma. We are going to basically demystify. Okay, so are you ready? Just type ready in the chat box and let us begin the journey. Let's begin the journey. Ready with some notes, notepad. Okay. Yeah, before we begin, how many of you are new members in the room right now? The new members in the room, just type me in the chat box if you're attending this first time, this live session first time. Okay, Pradeep and Neeraj and Saifani Teja. Okay, who else? Who else? Type in the chat box. Sonu. Okay, super. Everybody, just welcome new members in the family. Just type welcome in the chat box. Team, just check if all the other members have received the invitation, got the message, email, WhatsApp, whatever, right? Super. Welcome new members in the. So in the live session, generally, basically, we cover the Lean Six Sigma, Green Belt, Black Belt topics, which are a little, little bit of explanation is required, a little bit of depth is required to understand. Okay, that is the basic objective of these live sessions. Plus, you can directly interact with me and other mentors where you can have any question. So at the end of the session, we open the question answer forum. All right. Chalo. So let's begin the journey with what is Sigma. That's the main objective of working on that. Okay. So just give me a second. Super. So let me just share my whiteboard. And the first and the foremost thing, what is Sigma? Type in the chat box. According to you, what is Sigma? Sigma kya hai? Type in the chat box. We have covered that. Even the new people also would know. We have covered that in the yellow belt as well. But what is Sigma? Let's try to understand. Let's try to standard deviation. Okay. What else? Standard deviation. Okay. Standard deviation. Level of deviation accepted. Okay. Yeah, keep on typing, guys. Whatever is your version of Sigma, and we are going to demystify that today. Okay. We are going to do it, calculate it manually. We are going to do it on Minitab. We are going to, learn the concept of Sigma in detail. So from today onwards, because you are going to be Lean Six Sigma certified people, so you should be able to understand Sigma first. Are you clear? Yes. So what is Sigma? Sigma is a measure of variation. Sigma, as a lot of you have rightly mentioned, it is standard deviation. And sigma is a Greek letter, as we all know, just like alpha, beta, delta, gamma, theta, all those are Greek letters. Similarly, sigma is a Greek letter which measures standard deviation. Standard deviation is nothing but it's a measure of variation. Now, this is very important point here. Now, what is variation? Variation is, I keep on always saying this. Variation is nature of nature. Okay, variation meaning it is nature of nature. It's a universal nature. Variation is a part of nature. Let me give you an example of this. Let's say if you want to, let's give example of there are, okay, let's say this pen. Okay, now imagine if I take two pens manufactured exactly at the same time, same machine, same raw material, same person, same shift, everything exactly as same. So their diameter should be exactly equal to each other, right? Just type yes or no in the chat box. The diameter of the pen, because it is coming very precisely from the same machine, same raw material, same person who is operating that machine at the same time. The diameter, if I check, the two pens are there. This is one pen. Imagine there is another pen like this. If I check their diameter, both should be same, right? Just type yes or no in the chat box. Everybody. Okay, so Neeraj ji is saying yes. Yes. Okay, Anushka is saying yes. Okay, Sanjeev Rajan is saying yes. Yes. Okay, so a lot of people are saying yes. Now, what happens is, let's say these are the two. Let's say these are the two pens, and I'm just measuring the diameter. Okay. Now imagine, so these are the two pens. So for the first pen, let's say I measure the diameter 10.1 mm, second also 10.1 mm. Let's say this is pen number A or this is pen number B. Okay. Now what I'll do is I'll just increase the resolution. I will increase the resolution. Now I will get 10.12. Here also I will get 10.12. Because the same machine, same raw material, same person who has done it exactly in the same time they are manufactured. Same. So you will say, see, it is exactly same. Then I will increase the resolution even further. Then I will find 10.127 and 10.122. Here, I'm getting some difference between the readings. Now, what does it mean? As I mentioned earlier, variation is nature of the universe. It's nature of nature. Everywhere you will find the variation. Everywhere. When there is no variation, understand this. When there is no variation, it's a limitation of the measurement system. Write this down. But variation has to be there. How many of you got this? Just type yes in the chat box. Have you got this phenomenal fundamental difference? I'm covering very basics of sigma today, so that you guys will understand what is sigma. Have you understood this phenomenon? Right? So variation is a very fundamental nature of the universe. It has to be there. You cannot eliminate variation. Just type yes in the chat box if you have got this point. Very, very important point. And I've shown you, and you can do it. Actually, you can actually take some trials about this, and you will self-realize that yes, this is true. Are you clear? So whenever they are same, actually it's a limitation of the measurement system. If you go further, you will have to find out variation. Now, variation cannot be eliminated, but variation can be reduced. Variation cannot be eliminated, but it can be reduced. And why variation is so important here? Because more the variation, write this down. I'll just make a note of here. Yeah, I'll just remove this. So more the variation, more the variation, more the rejection. Write this down. Everybody, more the variation, more the rejection. Very simple fundamental. And so our main focus, especially in Six Sigma, is to reduce the variation. And because we are reducing the variation, we have to measure that variation. And that is the role of Sigma. Clear, everybody? Just type yes in the chat box. So in Six Sigma, we measure the data. We collect the data and we measure the variation existing in the data. And that is measured with standard deviation. Okay. So we are going to understand what is standard deviation in detail. All right. And then we are going to see basically how standard deviation is calculated. So we will derive a formula of standard deviation today. यहाँ तक clear है? Just type yes in the chat box. Everybody clear till now? Just type yes or clear in the chat box so that I can move it. This is the fundamental. So variation is a law of universe. It's a nature of nature. It's ingrained in each and every form. Okay, you cannot eliminate variation, but definitely you can reduce variation. And with the help of Six Sigma DMAC principle, we are going to reduce the variation. Okay? Okay. So, pehle na. So what we'll do is we will first we will basically I'll give you a simple analogy first. Okay. Let's say this bell-shaped curve if I draw. Now everybody knows this bell-shaped curve comes out of a diagram called histogram. Everybody knows this? Just type yes in the chat box. सबको पता है histogram? Just give me yes, no. Clear है? Super. Okay. So this indicates basically two things. One is where is the center and what is the spread of the data. And more the spread of the data, more is the variation. Lesser the spread of the data, lesser is the variation. All right. Now understand this. As we have understood that variation is important. Variation is nature of nature. We cannot eliminate. But we can identify, we can measure the variation and we can reduce the variation. So here only, so if we go deeper, why variation? If we ask the question, why variation? If I ask the question to the process, why variation? I will get the answers like because of man. Write this down. Because of machine. Are you understanding? Because of method. Why variation? Because of material. Because of mother nature. And measurement. The 6 M's, how many of you know this? All the 6 M's contribute to this variation. Have you understood this? Yes? 6 M's, cause and effect, fishbone analysis. So why variation? So these are the various categories of the variation. So variation can come from man. Variation can come from machine. Variation can come from method. It can come from material. It can come from measurement. Measurement se bhi ho sakta hai. That is what MSA, measurement system analysis, we learned. It can come from mother nature, which we something out of our control. Now, in our Six Sigma projects or Six Sigma methodology, our role is to identify these causes and reduce each and every factor's variation. I'll give you a simple example. Okay, everybody knows cricket, right? Just give me yes in the chat box. Cricket sabko pata hai. Give me yes. Everybody knows this, correct? Yes or no? Yes. Now imagine there is a bowler. Okay, there is a bowler who is a very young bowler who is not yet seasoned bowler who is just practicing. Now when he is bowling, okay, lot of time he will bowl the wide balls, right? He will bowl away from the stump because he is not accurate yet. Then if he is given the coaching by somebody senior, somebody coach, okay, a bowling coach, then he knows the technique of the bowling. He will know how to hit a stump. He will know how to target that. Now what will happen? Earlier the variation of his bowling was very high. Now he will come very close to the stump and variation will be reduced. And this is how, by giving training, coaching, skill building, we can reduce the variation of the man. This category I'm talking about. Are you understanding this? By focusing on the skill set of the people, we can bring the variation of the process. Have you understood this example? Now he will exactly ball very close to the stump and the variation will reduce. Yes or no? With a proper training and practice, he can reduce the variation. Yes or no? Just give me yes or no in the chat box. Have you understood this? Have you understood this now? The same goes with machine and method and material and measurement and everything. Similarly, for each and every category in the project, we have to identify what are the factors which are impacting the variation. What are the factors which are contributing to variation? And each and every factor, we have to reduce the variation. So man variation, we have to reduce. Machine variation, we have to reduce. Method variation, we have to reduce. Similarly, all the variations, once we reduce, what will happen ultimately, the overall impact will come like this. Overall impact will be, the data will be like this. It will come in the center and the variation will be reduced. Are you clear? Just type yes in the chat box. So the overall impact, once we start working on each and every factor one by one, the overall impact will be, it will come very close to each other. Okay, very close. Clear है? इसमें किसी को doubt, शंका, let me know. Clear? Yeah. So I'll repeat again. Just a second. So what we are doing here is, the variation we have understood, right? Man, machine, method, material, measurement, and mother nature. These are the six categories which we have learned in fishbone analysis, correct? All right, now what we will do is, we will work in this entire project, we'll work on all these factors which are, okay, all these factors which are basically impacting that variation. And our role is to bring down that variation so that the process becomes in center and the variation will be reduced. Now, why variation we need to reduce? Tell me. Why we have to reduce the variation? What is the main objective of reducing the variation? Type in the chat box. Yeah. Why we have to reduce the variation? Type in the chat box. Everybody. To reduce rejection due to defect. Very nice. Let's try to understand this. Now, what is rejection? Very good. So improve the quality, reduce the defect, rejection or defects. Okay. What is a rejection? Type in chat box. According to you, what is rejection? Rejection क्या है? Not meeting specific. Very, very nice. Very nice. Not meeting specification. More variation. Okay. What is rejection? What precisely is not as per customer specification? Out of not control limit. There is a correction. It is not control limit, it is specification limit. Okay. Now understand this. Okay. Now even in the cricket match also, there are some lines given. If you ball outside of that line, that is called a white ball. It is rejection. Yes or no? Similarly, we also have in our process, there is something called specification limit, which is defined by the customer. Write this down. Specification limit, which is defined by the customer. Are you clear? Understand this. Specification limits are decided. For example, if I draw the same, if I collect the data and I put that data in the histogram, all right, so it will look like this. Correct? Now, if my specification limits are like that, for example, let's take practical example. Okay, let's take the temperature of tea. Let's take temperature of tea. Okay. Now customer says, I will accept the temperature between 80 degree to 60 degree. Okay. So what is the specification here? The lower specification limit is 60 degree centigrade and upper specification limit is 80 degree centigrade. So customer will only accept. So below 60 degree for the customer, it is too cold. Okay, so this entire region is a defect, and above 80 degree will be too hot for the customer to drink. So this entire region will be a defect or rejection. Are you clear? So anything which does not fall. So any cup of tea, if I take the temperature, if it is below 60 degree, it is rejected. If it is above 80 degree, it is rejected. It has to be served between 60 to 80 degree. That will only be accepted and customer will pay for it. Clear, everybody? Just type yes in the chat box. So this is not as per the specification, and it is called rejection. Now understand this. Very simple analogy, the same analogy. If I work on the factors which are contributing to temperature variation, okay, and if I work on them, what will happen overall is this, okay. So this process will become like this. And now very less amount of data will be basically outside of the specification limit. And that is where we are targeting. Our target is to reduce the variation. As the variation reduces, less amount of rejection will happen. And that is our simple cash on the table saving. It is called cost of poor quality reduction. Right? Rejection is what? Cost of poor quality, right? Because of the poor quality meaning the product or service which is out of specification is called poor quality. Now the cost which is associated with that is called cost of poor quality. And by reducing the rejection, we are reducing the cost of poor quality and increasing our profitability. Have you understood this fundamental? Just like yes in the chat. Fundamental समझ में आया? Just give me yes. Clear है? Super clear, everybody. Very nice. Now let's calculate the standard deviation sigma. Okay, how do we calculate the standard deviation or sigma? Okay. Now let's do one thing. एक काम करते हैं. Everybody, just put your let's take some random data. Okay, random data of our height. Okay, imagine there is what you can say, there is some recruitment in our army. Okay, so army wants certain heighted people. Okay, can you just put your height in the centimeter in the chat box quickly? हम लोग उसका standard deviation निकालेंगे. Okay, manually we will calculate it first and then we will do it. Okay, चलो one by one निकालते हैं. I just want a small amount of data so that we can. All right, so 177 centimeter, just do it in centimeter. Okay, 177, 161, 167. Okay, what else? 162, 171. What else? Or 180. Okay, what else? 166. कितने हो गए? ज्यादा नहीं लेंगे, थोड़ा कम ही लेंगे, नहीं तो कैलकुलेशन में देर ही लगेगी. Okay, 152. Okay, चलो, that's it. All right. Now, so we have collected random 8 people data. Okay, this is height in centimeter. So we have collected some data, height. All right. Now we will calculate first. Now we have to calculate standard deviation. What are the steps of calculating standard deviation? Now everybody just pull out your calci. Pull out your calci. Everybody just pull out your calci. हम लोग manually करेंगे. It will take time, but your concepts will be completely clear. All right. So first step is collect the data. Step number 1 is collect the data. So we have collected the data. Step number 2 is take the average of the data. Can you just calculate the average? 177 plus 161 plus 167 plus 162, etc., etc., etc. Can you just quickly calculate the average? Just pull out your calci and calculate the average and give me the answer in the chat box. We have randomly collected this data, okay? I'm just writing this data in the, what do you say, ascending order. I'm not calculating. You have to calculate, okay? Yeah, very nice, Sadanand ji. Let's other people also calculate. See, आपको calculate करना है, किसी को ये नहीं करना है, copy नहीं करना है, okay? Yes, so it is 162. Then which one? Okay, 161 B है ना? 161, 162. Just a second. Just be muted. All right. So second step is average सबका आया 167. So average is shown as X bar. Okay. So X bar is 167. Everybody got 167? Just like this in the chat box. 166.25 आया है क्या? Is it in 166.25 or 167 exactly? Okay, एक बार फिर से देख लो. Yeah. So इसके बाद है 166. Then we have 170, 167. Then we have 171. Then we have 177, and then we have 180. Okay, इस प्रकार से है. And as per you guys, it is 167 as the average. Okay. Now from the average, now this is the reference point. Why we have calculated average? This is a reference point for us. From that average, what is the distance of each and every data point we need to calculate? And that is called deviation. Okay. So right now, let's calculate deviation. So what you need to do is, okay, 152 minus 167. So deviation, let's say D1, deviation 1 will be 152 minus 167. Can you just do this calculation for each and every, all the 8 data points? Okay, yeah, no problem. थोड़ा सा fraction में आपका गलत हो गया. No issue, no issue. Okay, 152 minus 167. Chalo, and then 161 minus 167. 162 minus 1. So can you just give me those answers quickly? The first one will be minus 15. Very nice. Second one will be minus 6. Correct? Third one will be minus 5. Everybody getting this? Fourth one would be minus 1. Fifth one would be 0. Sixth one would be 4. Seventh one would be 10. And the eighth one would be 13. Everybody got these numbers, the deviations? Just give me yes in the chat box. Very simple. So I'm just taking the distance from each and every data point to the. Everybody got this? Very nice. Now. So if we check this out, 23, 27, okay, then yeah. Now let's understand this. Can we now take the average of the deviation? Let's take the average deviation. Can you just add them up and divide by 8 and give me the answer? Just add them up and divide by 8. Now we have just taken the random heights and we are calculating this, okay? Everybody just calculate this, please. Take the average of the deviation. And what is the answer? Type in the chat box. So you add minus 5, minus 15, plus minus 6, plus minus 5, plus minus 1, plus 0, plus 4, plus 10, plus 13. What is the value? 0. The value is coming 0. Is the value coming 0? It must be 0 because minus 15, minus 5, minus 20, minus 27. और यहाँ पे भी है 27. So it must be 0. Everybody got 0 as answer. Now, does it mean there is 0 deviation? See, deviation meaning distance from the mean. Does it mean there is a 0 deviation? Yes or no? Does it mean there is 0 deviation? कोई भी deviation नहीं है. 0 deviation meaning what? All the data points will be 167, 167, 167, 167, 167. That is called 0 deviation. Have you understood this? All the data point exactly. But as we have studied, variation is the nature of nature, no? Correct? Yes? See, now we are a SNG family people. Even though your own family, your own sibling, there is a difference in the height, there is a difference in the weight, right? Yeah, yes or no? Correct? All the family members does not have the same height, same weight. There is a variation. So the deviation is coming zero or not exactly what it is because the negative values and the positive values are clashing with each other and not giving us the right result. Are you clear? Just type yes in the chat box. ये समझ में आया? Just give me yes. ठीक है? So what statisticians do? Statisticians take the squared value of the deviation, because the squared value is always a positive value, right? Okay. -2 square is not -4. -2 square is 4. So 2 square is also 4. -2 square is also 4. So square value is always positive. So what we'll do is, step number 4 is take the square of deviation. Square deviation. So can you just calculate this? And let's do one thing. Not only take the square deviation, take the average as well. That means like this, okay? -15 square plus -6 square plus -5 square. Can you just do this calculation quickly for me? Plus -1 square plus 0 square, which will be 0, of course, plus 4 square plus 10 square plus 13 square. Okay. And whole divided by 8, because we are taking the average. It's very simple. See, when we took the direct average, we could not find it. It was 0, right? That's why we are taking the squared average. So square average of square deviation. Average of square deviation. What is the answer here? Can you type in the chat box quickly? I'm not calculating. I'm completely depending on you guys. Okay. 572 divided by 8, 71.5. Everybody got this answer? Let's wait for everybody. Actually, आप करिए एक बार, थोड़ा सा पेन लीजिए, मैन्युअली करिए, because you will understand the funda. So on an average, so this is called square division. Now this is called as, this 71.5 is called as variance or variance. Make a note of this. यहाँ पे मैं लिखता हूं, it is called as variance or variance. Okay. Now, because we have taken the squared value, we have to take the square root of that. Okay. So take square root. So square root of variance. Can you just take the square root of 71.5 and let me know in the chat box? So square root, so variance is shown as sigma square. Okay. It is shown as sigma square. Variance is shown as sigma square. So take the square root of sigma square, which is square root of 71.5. Everybody calculate that, please. And the value is 8.46. Okay, very nice. Everybody got this answer, 8.46. And this answer is called as sigma or standard deviation. Clear, guys? Have you understood this? Just like yes in the chat box. So 8.46. This is called a standard deviation. Have you understood this? Just like yes in the chat box. How we have arrived at the standard deviation of the randomly selected heights of the people sitting in the room right now. Now, how do we read this? The first point, very important. What is the unit of measurement of standard deviation? What is the unit of measurement? Last week जिन्होंने ग्रीन बेल्ट हैकेथॉन अटेंड किया है, आपको पता है. What is the unit of measurement of standard deviation? Type in the chat box. Ah, very nice. You guys are senior people, are becoming smarter and knowledgeable now. Very good. It's same as data. No, the height is in centimeter, right? So standard deviation also will be in centimeter. If the height is in millimeter, standard deviation will be in millimeter. If height is in kilometer, standard deviation will be kilometer. Clear? So how do you read this? You will read this like this. From the mean, understand this, this is very important. From the mean, each and every data point is, on an average, 8.46 centimeter away from that value, from the mean value. Each and every data point is 8.46 centimeter away from the mean. Each and every data point is, on an average, 8.46 centimeter away from the mean. That is nothing but simple. In the simple term, it is not technically right definition, but in a simple term, it is average distance from each and every data point from the mean. Actually, technically, it is not right, but still, we can understand, we can comprehend like this. It's an average deviation meaning distance. Average distance from each and every data point and the mean. Are you clear with the just ideas in the chat box? Clear hai? Super clear with this funda? Everybody's clear with this fundamental just ideas in the chat box? Yeah? Super. Now, more the variation. Let's say, imagine we would have few people who are 190 centimeters or 200 centimeters, and few people maybe 140 centimeters, 150 or 145 centimeters. Then the variation will be very high. When the variation will be very high, standard deviation will become higher or lower. Type in chat box. When the variation increases, standard deviation goes higher or lower. Type in chat box. Everybody. Think about it. When the variation increases, standard deviation increases or decreases? It becomes higher or it becomes lower? Very simple. Standard deviation basically is measure of the variation. Variation increases, standard deviation increases. Variation decreases, standard deviation decreases. Are you clear with this? Just type yes in the chat box. Very simple. Clear? No confusion in this. जितना वेरिएशन ज्यादा उतना स्टैंडर्ड डिविएशन ज्यादा, जितना वेरिएशन कम उतना स्टैंडर्ड डिविएशन कम. Very clear. And our objective, by attacking on man, machine, method, material, mother nature, measurement, all these factors, our objective is to reduce the standard deviation. जितना standard deviation कम होगा, जितना sigma कम होगा, that will be better for us. Everybody till now with me, just type yes in the chat box. Have you understood this much fundamental? Clear hai? Super clear. Very good. Very good. Very good. Okay. Let me show you something. You can also do this along with me. Open any Minitab blank worksheet. Open any Minitab blank worksheet. Let's do some quick exercise about this. Okay. Let's do some quick exercise about it. Once you have opened it, let me know in the chat box you have opened. If you don't have Minitab, just observe what we are doing. Okay, so now we have calculated standard deviation. So we have just covered the 50% of the part today. Okay, अब हम लोग Minitab पे करके देखेंगे. Then we will go to the Z calculation, which is process capability calculation, which is the most important stuff, and that will blow your mind away. Okay, chalo, opened everybody. Once you have opened it, let me know in the chat that you are open. If you are in a position to open, okay. If you are traveling, if you don't have tab, if you don't have laptop, desktop, etc., it's okay. Just observe what we are doing. Okay. Chalo. Let's do one thing. Go to calc. Open. Everybody, just give me confirmation. Let's give me confirmation here. यहाँ पे देखिए, यहाँ पे काम करिए. यहाँ पे C1 में ना लिखिए data. Just give the name data in the C1 column. C1 is column number 1. Okay. Yeah, C1 is column number 1. Just give the name data. Okay. All right. Done. Yeah, Sadaranji, once you are done, let me know. Opened it and just type data in the chat box. Go to calc, random data, normal. Just follow the sequence. Calc is calculator. Random data, which is third last option available, and go to normal. All right. And click on that. Everybody would got this kind of, window in front of you. Okay. Now, number of rows in the data to generate. Let's put 30 data points. Let's put 30 over there. The first one, number of rows in the data. Okay. Now, here, store in the column. Here, just click on store in column. Just select the data. That means we will store the data in this column called data. The data का नाम जो जिस column को दिया है उसमें वो store होगा. Okay. In the mean, just give maybe 50. Just give 50 as mean. Standard deviation should be 1. That's good enough. Just take mean 50 and standard deviation 1. That's it. And randomly we are generating 30 data points. Okay, just click OK. So 30 random data points will be generated. Okay, everybody got this? Just type yes in the chat box. Done. 50 standard. So you can take any standard deviation, any mean. Okay, got it. So now we have generated some standard deviation. Sorry, 30 data points. Now let's go to graph. Go to stat, basic statistics, and graphical summary. Stat, basic statistics, graphical summary. Everybody follow this. After once you generate the data, let's go to some basic statistical calculation. Stat, basic statistics, graphical summary. If you click on that, this window will appear. Select data in variable column and click on OK. And you will get something like this. Once you have done this, let me know in the chat box. Got it, everybody? Done? Now today, our objective is, now look at this. So this is called histogram. So this diagram is called histogram. And this is called bell-shaped curve basically. Okay. Now look at the stats data here. This is called mean, which is called X bar. The mean is 50.229. In my case, your number can be different because everybody's number will be different. Yes. And then the second one is standard deviation, which is sigma. So sigma is 1.051. This one. So the mean is 50.221. This is the mean. And from the mean, all the data points are 1.051 units away from each other. From not each other, from that mean. Clear, everybody? Just type yes in the chat box. Are you clear with this? Just give me yes. Clear him. So you can collect your own data and you can easily calculate your standard deviation. Yes or no? Now you can feed the data in the software Minitab and just go to the stat, basic statistic, graphical summary, and you will get mean, mode, median, and standard deviation, everything. All the details you will get on the right-hand side. You will get the graphical report as well. Clear? Can you do it with your own data as well? Yes or no? Your own process data का भी आप use कर सकते हो ये करने के लिए. And you can calculate standard deviation. Everybody? This is called standard deviation sigma. Now, are you clear with standard deviation? Just type yes in the chat box. Okay, so इसका formula जो है ना, ये formula ऐसे होता है. I'll give you the formula of standard deviation. So the formula of standard deviation is summation of, okay, it is written sometimes like this. Summation of xi minus x bar square divided by n. So this is nothing but the distance. Xi meaning all the data points. X bar meaning the mean. So what is the difference between these two square? And all the data points for summation. This is a summation symbol. Symbol of all the data points. So Xi meaning the individual data points. Write this down. Individual data points. X bar meaning the average, which we have first calculated. And n is equal to number of data points. The simple formula. Clear, everybody? Just type yes in the chat box. Super clear hai ye? This is the formula of standard deviation. Just type yes in the chat box. Make a note of this. That's what we have done now. हम लोगों ने वही किया, right? Xi meaning all the data points 152, 161, 167, etc. All were Xi's. Okay, so individual data points minus the X bar. X bar was 167, right? The distance ka square liya. We took the square of the distance, correct? And then we added and took the average of it. And then we have taken the square root. And this is how the formula was created. So I actually shown you how the formula was originated, so that now you are clear about what is the reason why we are taking the squared value. Okay, now you are clear about it. Okay, now this is standard deviation. Now let's go to the next step, which is called process capability. Very, very important. Okay, what is the let me go back to my whiteboard once again. I hope everybody is with me till now. Okay, let me go back to my whiteboard. Now, till now, once the data is collected, we have calculated standard deviation, the mean and the standard deviation. Now, let's go one step further and calculate the process capability. Write this down. What is process capability? Process capability which is denoted by something called Z. Okay, Z. Now, process capability is nothing but ability of the process. Understand this, sir? Ability of the process to satisfy the specification limit or the requirement of the customer. You can make a note of this. Ability of the process to satisfy customer requirements is called process capability. Ability of the process to satisfy customer requirement is called process capability. Everybody's clear about it? Just type yes in the chat box. Ability of the process to satisfy customer requirement is called process capability. Now, once we collect the data, we can calculate the mean, we can calculate the standard deviation. Okay. Now, can we calculate the process capability with the same data? Type yes or no in the chat box. With the same data, can we calculate? Or do we want some more information? Or do we want some more information? Can we calculate process capability with the same data? So for the same data, this data, let's say, if I go back to this data, can I calculate the process capability of this data? If yes, can you calculate and show it to me? If the answer is yes, can you just calculate and show it to me quickly? And tell me the answer. What is the process capability of this? You have the data in front of you. Can you just calculate process capability? Everybody, can you give me the answer directly? Ah, very nice. Now you guys are bang on. Specification limit is needed. Specification limit is required. Now understand this. Very simple. Okay. Exactly. So if the specification limits are not there, you cannot calculate. See, what is the definition of process capability? Ability of the process to satisfy the requirement of the customer. No? If the requirement of the customers are not known, how you will find out the ability of the process? Tell me. You cannot. So you need the specification limit. That is the requirement of the customer, because specification limits are decided by the customer. Remember the T example. Remember the T example. In the T example, the specification limits what? 60° and 80°. Remember that? If you don't have that specification limit, you cannot find whether your process is capable or not. Are you understanding this? Just give me yes in the chat box. So to find out process capability, you require specification limit. Write this down. Very, very important. Without it, you can only calculate the mean and the standard deviation, but not the z-score, which is process capability. Clear? Now let's take the same example. Okay. Imagine customer will accept. Okay. Now imagine, in this case, this is my data now, and this is my, let's say, if mean is around 50. Customer will accept between 40, LSL is 40, and let's say USL is 60. So customer will accept the product between 60 and 40. If it is less than 40, it will reject. If it is greater than 60, it will reject. Okay. So this will be rejected. Anything beyond this will be rejected. Okay. Clear hand? So only between 60, this much will be accepted. Now let's put the specification limit and calculate the z-score. Now, what is the formula for z-score? Very simple formula for z-score is, let's go ahead. I'll give you first, I'll give you a simple, the same example we will extend. The same example we will extend. Yeah, let's do one thing. Okay, let's do one thing here. Yeah, let's put the z-score over here itself. Okay, then we will calculate manually. So let's go back to stat, quality tools, capability analysis, normal. Everybody just follow this. Go to stat, quality tools, capability analysis, normal. Voice of customer, voice of process. Exactly. Very good. Fantastic. Stat, quality tools, capability analysis, normal. Got it? USL minus mean divided as standard deviation. Fantastic. Okay. Done. Once you select that, now this window will appear. This window will appear. Now, the single column is, just select data. Subgroup size is 1. Okay. The lower specification limit in this case, let's say 40. And upper specification limit in this case is 60. Everybody? Data को select करो. Subgroup size is 1. Lower specification is 40 and upper specification is 60. Okay. Now let's go to option. Here there is an option tab on the right hand side corner. You can see there is an option tab. Just click on the option tab. And here, instead of capability stat CPPP, just select benchmark Z so that you can get the Z value directly. Okay. And click on OK. And click on OK. Wow, look at this. Such a powerful process. This process is 9 sigma process. Look at this. Okay. So you guys must have got this value. In my case, this is 9.16 sigma process. That means it is more than 9 sigma process, because you can see the specification limits are too wide and the process is, the process is too stringent within a very closely bound specification limit. So it's called 9 sigma process. Okay, I'll explain it again. Then हम लोग उसका formula निकालेंगे. Go to stat, quality tools, capability analysis, normal. Everybody follow this. Stat, quality tools, capability analysis, normal. Okay. Yeah, your values are different. No, that's why your process capability is different. Okay. Now, you go to normal, click on that. In the single column, put data, the column which you have generated the data, right? I'm referring to this data. I'm referring to this data basically. Your data would be a little different, okay? But this is the data I'm referring, okay? So go to stat, quality tools, capability analysis, normal. I select the data, I put 40 as lower specification, 60 as upper specification. I go to option and I go to benchmark Z. I say okay, and I say okay, and I got this value. Everybody got this? Just type yes in the chat box if you're following this. Have you got this? Just type yes in the chat box. So this is a very, very capable process. Okay, are you clear with this? So now let's do one thing. Let's change the specification limit. Change the specification limit, okay? Now, instead of 40 and 60, okay, let's put somewhere around 48 to 52. Just change the specification limit. That's it. Don't do anything else. Earlier, it was very, broader specification limit. Now it is 48 to 52. Okay, everybody? 48 to 52 डाल के देखिए. Wow, look at this. Now this is the data. Now my Z bench is 1.5. So my process capability is 1.5 sigma. So this is my Z score. See, when I say 6 sigma process, understand this. When I say 6 sigma process, this is the Z value which I'm talking about. In this case, this is the Z value. Everybody got this number? Just type yes in the chat box. Similar to this number now, the process capability is reduced because now the customer is asking very stringent norms. Are you understanding? Now understand this. Understand this. Very, very important. Imagine in Indian context, let's say in Indian market, your customer is happy with 40 and 60. But if you go to American market or European market, your customer is asking for stringent norms, 48 and 52. That means your process capability in Indian market will be different and your process capability in the foreign market will be different. Are you understanding this? Just type yes in the chat box. Are you understanding? Just type yes. How many of you have understood this? So your process capabilities, are you capable? Are you capable of delivering in this specification limit? And are you capable of delivering this specification limit? Okay. Yes. So what is the formula of calculating this? This is very, very important. Let's go back to the formula now. And which is something the most important stuff. Okay. I'll go back to the whiteboard. Now let's understand the Z. Okay. Now the Z is nothing but the Z formula is this. USL minus X bar divided by standard deviation. Okay. Now let's do one thing. Let's take the same example of the T, temperature. Okay. So T temperature का same example लेते हैं. So this is the first case where, upper specification, lower specification. So upper was 80, lower was 60, and the mean in this case was 70. Okay, let's say mean was 70 in this case. Okay. Now, but the standard deviation in this case is, so this is the first case. The standard deviation is, let's say 5. That means all the data points which we have collected are 5 degrees centigrade away from the mean, and X bar is 70 degree. Okay. Everybody with me? So X bar is 70, USL is 80, and standard deviation is 5. Can you just calculate a Z score and type in the chat box? So this is LSL and this is USL. Everybody calculate, put it in the formula. No, not like that. First, we will do like this. I'll show you why this is not USL minus LSL. Okay. Right now, just do this. USL minus X bar divided by standard deviation. Kitna aaya? 2. Everybody got the answer 2? So when my standard deviation is 2, my z-score is, so my standard deviation is 5, my z-score is 2. Okay, now understand this. Now listen to me very carefully. When my z-score is 2, I can fit between my upper specification limit and my mean, I can fit 2 times standard deviation because my standard deviation is 5, no? So I can find out 1 sigma and 2 sigma. I can fit 2 standard deviation between my mean and my upper specification limit. Yes or no? Because my sigma is 5. So, and the distance between my upper specification and mean is 10. So I can fit 2 sigmas in that space, correct? Yes or no, everybody? Focus here, listen to me very carefully. Between my mean and upper specification limit, because my sigma is 5, I can fit 2 sigmas. When I can fit 2 sigmas, my process is 2 sigma process. I will call that process 2 sigma process. Have you understood this? Everybody, have you understood? When I can fit 2 sigma between my mean and upper specification limit, that is called 2 sigma process. Now what we'll do is, yeah. Have you understood the z-score, Sanjay ji? Have you understood the z formula, USL minus x bar divided by standard deviation? Just give me yes. Okay, very good. Now we are just putting the values over there. USL is 80, x bar is 70 degree, and standard deviation is 5. Now we have just assumed. Imagine we have collected some 30 data point, 30 cups, okay? And we have taken the degree centigrade, the temperature, and we have taken the standard deviation that like we have calculated just now, okay? And imagine the standard deviation is 5 degree. Are you understanding? When the standard deviation is 5 degree, okay, then my z-score will be USL minus x bar, which is 80 minus 70 divided by 5, which is 10 divided by 5 is equal to 2. When my z-score is 2, understand this. That means I can fit between my mean, this is my mean, x bar is my mean, right? The center. Yes. So this is my x bar, this one, the center value is my mean, and my USL is 80. So between my 70 and 80, I can fit 2 times my sigmas, right? Because it is 5. So 1 sigma and 2 sigma, I can fit 2 standard deviation, yes or no? Like this. Have you understood this? Sanjay ji, just give me yes. So when I fit 2 standard deviation, that is called, when I fit 2 times standard deviation, that is called a 2 sigma process. Okay. No, we can do the same thing on the lower side as well. We can do the same thing, but let's understand the funda. बाद में हम लोग detail में जाएंगे. Let's understand the funda. Okay. Now, coming back to now I have improved the process and I have reduced the standard deviation. Okay, I have improved the process. Now the process looks like this. The process looks like this. Okay. Let's say earlier was like this. Now the improved process looks like this, very close to the center. Okay. Now my USL and LSL are same. This is LSL and this is USL. But because my process is centered now, because my process variation is reduced, let's say my sigma in this case is, let's say 2 degrees centigrade. Instead of 5 degrees centigrade, my standard is sweet. As the spread reduces, my sigma reduces. Yes or no? My standard deviation is reduced to 2 degrees centigrade. Now, can you calculate a z-score? The same formula. This will be 70. This will be 80. And this will be 60. Okay. Can you just calculate a z-score now? The z-score is, again, USL minus x bar divided by sigma. Okay. Which means 80 minus 70 divided by 2, which is nothing but 5. Everybody got 5? Now, when my z-score is 5, that means I can fit between USL and x bar. This is my x bar. Okay. Between USL and x bar, I can fit 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 standard deviation I can fit. Yes or no? Everybody got this? when I can fit 5 standard deviation of 2, 2, 2, 2 each, okay, on either side of the specification limit, that is called a 5 sigma process. This is called a 5 sigma process. So my capabilities increase. When my Z value increases, it shows my process capability has increased. How many of you got this? Just type yes in the chat box. How many of you got this? Got it? Amazing. Superb. Now the same can be done on the lower side as well. Either of the side, okay? Either of the side. You can either do USL minus X bar or you can do X bar minus LSL. Both side mein chal sakta hai, provided the process is in center. Okay, have you understood the fundamental of this? How to calculate standard deviation and how to calculate Z score, which is the process capability score. So we have calculated with manually, we have calculated with Minitab as well. Clear? Just type clear in the chat box. So in the nutshell, our role is to reduce the variation and increase the process capability. That's it in one line. The summary of whatever we have learned is reduce the process variation and increase the process capability. Clear? So when I say 6 sigma, sigma denotes the variation, variability. Write this down. This denotes the variability, and the Z score denotes, this is the Z score, which denotes the capability. Okay. And as the variability reduces, our capability improves. So our role is to reduce the standard deviation, which is sigma. As sigma reduces, the Z score will improve. Clear, everybody? So 6, when I say 6, that 6 is a Z score. And that indicates the capability. More the Z score, better for us. Okay? And our role is to increase the Z score in every project. All right, superb. Now, the people who are very new, have you understood at least 50% of it? Just type yes in the chat box. Very new people, the new joinee people who joined this, yesterday or maybe 1 week or a couple of weeks back. Have you understood at least 50%, 60%? That's good enough. Okay. This is a little complex topic to understand in the first go, but even if you have understood 50%, you have done a fantastic job. I would highly recommend you go ahead with the recording of this once again, just to understand it. Then you take your own data, put it in the Minitab software, and then explore all these things. Calculate standard deviation, calculate Z score, and you can calculate with your own self. All right. Superb. So that's it from today. So we are opening the forum for question and answer. Now, how do we do that? There is a raise hand option available at your panel over there, somewhere in your panel. So if you have any doubt, now your doubt could be related to your today's session, or your doubt could be any project related doubt which you're doing, or any advanced level topic which you have. So it doesn't matter, doubt kaun sa bhi ho sakta hai. Okay, so don't worry, you can directly ask the doubt, and your doubt can give clarity to other people as well. That's the objective of the question answer sessions. Okay, so you can just go one by one. If you have any doubt, you can just raise your hand, and then we will go one by one to avoid the chaos. Otherwise, everybody will unmute and ask the question. It will be a chaos. Okay, chalo. So if you have any question, meanwhile, all the people, especially the new people, whatever we cover, okay, that is stored in master class archive folder. Okay, so make sure you check the master class archive folder later. Okay, once the session is over, within 1 hour it gets uploaded in the masterclass archive. You have to scroll it below. Once you open the masterclass archive, there is a once you go and do the login, you will find that folder called masterclass archive. Open that folder, go at the bottom. At the bottom, you will find the title of this topic today, the date of the topic, date as well, and you can access that recording. Okay, that will be given, and you have all the recordings since last 4 years. Okay, even after COVID, we started this journey, online journey. Okay, so utna sara pura aap dekh sakte ho, right? And apart from that, this number, save this number right now. Okay. Everybody, please save this WhatsApp number on your mobile phone. This is our mentor's WhatsApp number, and this is not strictly not for calling. Okay. This is for this is mentor WhatsApp number. Okay. So this is for any kind of query in between you have. You can ask the query in the live session, or you can ask the just send a message on that, and you will get a faster resolution over there. Okay. Yes, Dilip ji, you can unmute yourself and ask the question, please.
Hi, sir. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Sir, I was going through the material for Sigma Green Belt.
Haji.
I just want to understand what is the relation between Z value and CP value? Like, how can we derive a relation between Z value and CP value?
Super, super. Let me just go back to my whiteboard. You can just write this down. It's a very good question, by the way. I have not covered CP, CPK today, but through this question, let me just see. There are various ways you can basically derive, the process capability. So CP is called as potential process capability. Just for your understanding, for other people, just make a note of this. CP is called as, write this down, everybody, potential process capability. It is also a part of your green belt curriculum. You can just see that. I have not covered that because it will take another half an hour for explanation. Okay. Potential process capability. Okay. And there is something called CPK, which is called as process capability index. Process capability index. Now, just for simplicity, just for everybody. Now, for example, in the cricket match, okay, I've given a very simple example. I'm giving you a very simple example to understand. In the cricket match, in the 6 deliveries, how many maximum score you can do, which is 36 or 6 sixes, like Yuvraj Singh has it in the World Cup, right? So 36 the maximum, of course, if there is no ball and white ball and all those things, right? So with that 6 legal deliveries, maximum, this is called potential. So you have potential to score 36 runs in an over. But what exactly you are scoring? Maybe you have scored 8 runs or 10 runs. And that is called actual. So you can see like CP is nothing but your potential. So this is your potential of potential process capability of the process. And this is your actual process capability. Have you understood this? Just like yes, everybody, this is, even though Dilip ji has asked the question, this is for everybody. Are you clear with this? And now I'm coming back to the, see, CP-CPK is another way of expressing the process capability. Okay, this is also process capability indicator. Okay, now what is the relationship between Z and CP-CPK is this. Okay, make a note of this. This is very, very important. Now, if your Z score is if your Z score is 1, okay, so your CP-CPK value will be 0.33. If your Z score is 2, it will be 0.66. If it is 3, then your CP-CPK value will be 1. If it is 4, then it is 1.33. If it is 5, then it is 1.66. When it is 6, it is 2, and so on and so forth. It can continue. Okay. So which means, the Z score and CPK values are the same, same process capability expressed in a different way. And this is the relationship between it. This. Okay. If you want the detailed analysis, you can go to the CP-CPK calculation or CP-CPK session, which we have taken in the past. There, the calculation of CP-CPK, etc., will be given to you. Clear?
Yeah, sir. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, everybody clear with this? Just take a note of this. This is just for your information because, and this is the advantage of the session.
Sir, I just want to know. So actually, what we say is like CP or CPK value should be more than 1.33. So that means like the process should be more than 4 sigma, right?
Correct. Exactly. Perfect. Perfect. That's exactly the way. So anything which is more than 4 sigma, it's always better because then you have some, they have some scope for some variation. If you have exactly 3 sigma process, then your process variation and specification limits are like, they're matching with each other. It is just like you're parking a car, okay, in a garage where, your mirrors are exactly brushing the walls of the garage. Are you understanding? That is called 1 sigma.
Like control limit and specification limit are same.
Exactly same. Exactly same. Okay. Now, what we want is, we want to reduce the variation, that the width of the car should be reduced, so that there should be some kind of play. Okay. So that 4 sigma and above 4 sigma gives us that play. And that's why we are aiming that. Okay. Now, when CP is equal to CPK, this is also one question. Okay. Now, potential and actual are different. So when CP is exactly equal to CPK is when your target, you can make a note of this, target is exactly equal to your mean. When your target is exactly matching with your mean, that means your CP and CPK are exactly equal. Okay. So your CPK can never go beyond CP. CP is the highest potential. Okay. So CP is the highest potential you can. So if you want to increase that, you need to reduce on your specification, not your variation, basically. That's it. All right. Fantastic. Any other question? Super. If no question, then we will, no question in the chat as well. Okay, fantastic. So thank you very much for joining in. Okay, yes, Sai Teja. By the way, all the new members, you must have gotten your login ID password. Just give me yes in the chat box. Everybody, all the new members, especially you have joined just yesterday or maybe last week, etc. Correct? Yes, you got it, right? Or any kind of challenge you have, just send a message on the mentor's WhatsApp number, and we'll be more than happy to support you in that. Okay. Yes. Okay. Joe, go ahead, Sai Teja. You can just unmute and ask the question, please.
Yeah, thank you. So why should it be 6 sigma? Because is there any necessity
No.
that it be 6?
You can go beyond 6 sigma as well. You can go to 7 sigma, 8 sigma, 9 sigma, 10 sigma. But again, as you go up, okay, what happens is it does not remain. That's what the practical thing I'm sharing with you. It does not remain economically viable to, because see, to reduce the variation and produce the product at that precision and accuracy requires more cost. Are you understanding? Okay. So when it crosses 6 sigma, it does not remain economically, it does not give you that incentive. Okay. So even if you reach 5 sigma, or 5.5 sigma, etc., you get a lot of value out of it. And if you reach 6 sigma, that's the fantastic thing. If you go beyond this, the cost which is required to maintain that precision is not what you get at the end of it. Okay. Anyway, customer is happy with whatever you're giving, but you are giving very close variation. Is not required. Okay. If required, then yes, we can go beyond 6 sigma as well. Okay. It was just the name given by the Motorola company, and we are just using that name further. That's it. Okay.
Yeah, and one more question. So just now we have discussed about the relation between Z and CPK values.
Yeah.
So if Z is 1, CPK value would be 0.33.
Correct.
Technically, do we have any formula for this?
Yes, we have the formula for this as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Anyways, we will be discussing it tomorrow. That's
correct. Fine. So we will. You can check the formula in in the last session which was taken in. There is a masterclass archive folder. Okay, you can go to masterclass archive folder, or in the green belt also you will find out CPK explanation. There you will find the formula of that as well. Okay.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay, guys. Thank you very much for joining in. So this is it. The recording will be uploaded in a short while from now, within 1 hour from now. You can check it out later and practice. Practice will make you perfect. Okay. So we'll connect again on the next session. Till the time, take care.